screen. Maybe we'll be able to do this late. All right. All right, it says Mike is accepted and connecting, so hopefully we'll have Mike here to talk about ITBoost. All right.
Yeah.
So Mike.
So thanks, guys. Sorry about the scheduling error. I have it. I'm looking at my calendar, and it's scheduled for 1 p.m. Dallas time. So I'm glad I joined early, or late, but thanks for letting me in.
So I'll just kind of recap what we start, because we started talking about ITBoost. I tried talking ITBoost to begin with, but then we started talking anything else just to have a conversation, really. So where we're at is people know that you've got some new things in the works. You were just at DattoCon last week, right? And I believe you've got a new Autotask integration to show off. And there are some questions that have been raised that I know we're going to need to get some answers for in regard to service and things like that. So I guess I'll kind of let you. I won't throw you to the wolves right away, okay? I'll let you get your bearings. I'll let you kind of give us an intro of ITBoost. We have some people here that have not used ITBoost. I know Creekor is an Autotask user. I know there's another gentleman here named Mike. Is he still here? Mike left. So we missed out on the other Mike. But there are some other people that would like to see ITBoost and see what it can do and see how it can help. So, yeah. So tell us about ITBoost, sir.
Thanks for the introduction, Steve. And so what I'll do is I'll kind of talk through, how the platform is envisioned being used from an SMB MSP perspective. The feature functionality, and some of you may have seen it before, but what we'll do is just do a high-level recap and walk through things. And what I'll show you is all relevant to Autotask now. We have their AEM and their PSA tool. I'm not sure exactly what they call it, integrated into the platform now, so you'll be able to take advantage of that. And then I think last time, Steve, when we talked, we did not have the business intelligence pillar on the platform up. It is up, and I'll show you what that looks like. And we are in the process of integrating that into the Autotask family currently as we speak, but you will get it as part of the platform. It may just not turn on immediately, but it will turn on soon after they finish the BI part of the Autotask integration. But for all of the ticket displays, dashboards, RMM dashboards, all of that, it is all stood up and it is all working for you guys. So I will. How do I share my screen on this?
So if you hover your mouse over your own video, you'll see it looks like a little laptop with an arrow in it. And you'll click on that. It'll offer to install a Google Chrome plugin, which you'll need to do. And then you can simply click on that button a second time, and it'll offer to share your screen for you. And it's just you today, no Ali?
He's probably got the same time that I do because he sent me the invite. Okay, my screen is up. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Fantastic. So to recap the platform, one of the things that your audience could take advantage of is our contact integration screen. And let me show you what that looks like. It has been, last time we just had some screenshots of it, but this is a live interaction of what that looks like. So if your voice over IP system will export the caller ID in a web URL link, we will capture that and pull up this contact screen for you right out of the gate. Now, this is pulling through the Autotask, PSA, and RMM information, or you can have the Screen Connect, the ConnectWise integration. So really what the value of this is, as soon as the customer is calling, that DID export is pushed over, we pop the screen, you're pulling the company, the status of the company, any notes about this customer, the agreements, if you want to pull those through, the contact details, the last time they called, the live ticket details, so that you can see if you're already working issues in the business, so that you do not duplicate efforts. Any common knowledge-based information or assets they commonly refer to as it relates to them. So if I need to quickly, refer to some bit of information, I can click on this. It will take me to that information, and then I can go right back to where I was. So right out of the gate, you have the upper hand on the information flow in terms of what's going on with this customer from a base point of view. And then when I enlarge the view by clicking on the actual company logo, company URL over here, I broaden this picture out quite substantially. So now I'm pulling through the asset statistics, the RMM details, what kind of customer this is based on the feedback, the past ticket details for the past 6 months. Warranties through Warranty Master or Dell Warranty are being pulled through Autotask AEM or through ConnectWise or Automate. So the platform will parse it out right here and give you these details. Again, you can drill down into any of these details. It'll give you the list, and you can drill down onto these devices from right here. Domains and SSLs are parsed out, and you can put those in terms of their expirations, so that both with asset warranties and domains and SSLs, you guys can create and set automated workflows, so that when these things are coming up for renewal, you can generate a ticket or create an email alert that will allow you to take notice of these events that are coming up. So it's kind of a set it and forget it. And then the live ticket detail pulling through, so that if I want to click on any one of these ticket numbers, it will open up the actual ticket either in ConnectWise or in Autotask. Now, for my laptop, it's integrated into ConnectWise, but those people that are on Autotask, you'll be able to open up directly to the Autotask ticket right here and make your changes, document your time, update your status. And then when you do, what happens is it sends this information back over to us in real time, so that you've got the updated information. So looking at this, envisioning how an MSP uses this, right? I can see when devices are going into the red or going offline, or I can drill down into any device from right here and scroll down and see the devices that are going offline. This information is pulling through the PSA. I can flip the screen around and now see the information pulling through the RMM, and know how I want to relate this information in terms of resolving an issue. And the magic of documentation is not only having the information listed out like you see on the left-hand panel, but it is also relating that information. So if I open up this right-hand panel, I'm relating as much documentation as I could ever imagine to this device, right? And so you're relating documentation to what I call people, places, and configurations, people, places, and things, right? So if I want to quickly, remote into this device, I can have this password right at my fingertips, uncover it, copy it, and drop it in. I can link as much documentation as I want to this device, so that, if I need to consider these items during my remediation phase, I have this information and these relationships linked at my fingertips to quickly vet through them and drill down on what I'm looking for. So for example, if I need to know how to reset this server and I have it listed in here, I can click on this information. It will take me to the steps to reset the server, right? And then when I'm done with these steps, I open up this sidebar, and this device is reverse linked right here, so that I can go right back to where I was working previously, and I don't lose my place. That's the automation of documentation, right? That's what makes it so valuable. You have a centralized repository, but then you have the linking relationships where you tie together all interdependencies together where they make sense. So when you're going through issues, you can consider everything that's related. And so our documentation is both local, that you see underneath companies, and it's also global in terms of knowledge base and run books. And I'll show you what those look like. But going back to the local documentation, let's show you how to build that out, right? The companies, the status of the companies, the agreements are pulling through, contacts, locations, and configurations are all pulling through the ticketing system, whether it's in ConnectWise or Autotask, right? And then the value of documentation is being able to then build out as many flexible assets or documentation templates as you guys want, right? So that you can link these relationships together. And we give you a very robust template builder. The template builder comes with about 25 templates right out of the box. Each one of these templates is, based on Active Directory, has Active Directory terminology in it, so forth and so on throughout the, all of these custom templates, right? And so you can customize these templates where you can add boxes to them or delete information, or you can build out your own documentation from scratch where you're determining what the layout needs to look like, and then you're determining what form components that you want to see in here based on the information that you want to capture. And each one of these form components, they all do different things. And this is also, Steve, this is also an upgrade from the last time we spoke, where you can really customize the information in a far greater way. You can create drop-down boxes, multi-select boxes, a number of ways that you want to document the information. Iframes.
Like there were some extra options there.
Absolutely, yeah. And so, the way you capture the information can be very complex. So, for example, with a multi-select box, if I configure this box, for example, if I'm going to configure it right, I will build out the multi-select. I will label it. I can even turn a requirement box on now with this, so the documentation has to be filled out, and the boxes have to be selected according to what my operating procedures are, so that the information has to be filled in. And so this helps ensure compliance as you move forward, and things don't, your standardization levels are high and things like that. That's helpful as you move along in the months and years. Sometimes documentation can, people can get lazy or things can fall through the cracks. This helps mitigate some of that by requiring that information to be built out. And so in the end, when you build out these templates, what you end up doing is then linking them to, again, people, places, and configurations, people, places, and things through customization. You can use the naming conventions that we have, or you can build out templates with your own nomenclature based on how you call things out in the environment. And so that's critical, because your terminology may not be our terminology, and we want you to be able to work within the boundaries that you feel comfortable with, not necessarily what we've just built into the platform. So that's the case, and that's all in there. And then building out, knowledge base and run books, very important to an MSP, information that can be stored in both just a flat view that you see here or a folder view, so that you can really organize the information to be able to quickly find it, whether you want to search for it or put it in a folder structure to make it easily accessible through searching like this. It can be done. With the global documentation, you also have the ability to export information. You can make it public, and when you make it public, it comes with a URL set that can be copied and exported to somebody who can then click on that URL and come in and read this information. Now, if they don't have access to the platform, they will not see anything else, but they will see this information that you're trying to convey to them in a very quick and efficient manner. So that makes a difference when you're trying to, move through a number of issues in a given period during the day. You want to quickly, efficiently disseminate information so that you're not bogged down through endless cycles of interaction. Of course, you can copy this information, you can print it, export it, Word, PDF, and email it to somebody if you would like to get them the information like that. The platform also has run books built into it, so that You can build out standard operating procedures, and you see with the run book, it has step-by-step procedures. And when you look at the build out shows you that each step has its own specific data set associated with it. So as I click through the steps, you're going to see these data sets change, right? So that if you have a complex set of workflows or operating procedures that you need to update months and years from now, you can quickly find the information by looking at the header, right? If I need to know how I need to update how to prepare the forest schema for a domain controller migration 3 years from now, I don't want to search through a 30-page Word document to just find some little minutia of detail for preparing forest schema. I want to quickly find the information, click on it, edit it, update it, save it, and I'm off and going. If I need to reorder these steps, I can just drag and drop and save it, and then the steps are reordered in my run book automatically. And then you'll see also it will renumber the steps for you automatically also. And you can build these run books out in steps and sub-steps up to about 4 levels deep. So that's included in the platform. One of the things that small MSPs struggle with is their documentation reporting and compliance. And so we provide a documentation report for you that'll show you every single customer that you have and every single bit of documentation associated with every single customer so that you can clearly see where your gaps are in documentation. This is critical as you grow. When you're a small shop, you kind of know these things. But as you grow and bring on more labor and workforce, right, some things may fall through the cracks. This will help mitigate some of that by being able to quickly see where your gaps are in documentation and close those gaps. And so that helps ensure compliance and avoid those uncomfortable situations when people are looking for information. And then I want to show you a new feature that was not on the platform last time. It's our business intelligence module that has been built in based on ticketing. So you can generate literally thousands of reports, graphs, and charts, line charts, bar charts, graph charts, numerical charts based on your tickets, right? And so this is critical as you're growing, right? You want to see what is being generated and what you're working in your business, right? So that you can do 2 things with this platform. Number one, you can automate the reporting so you're not building endless worksheets, eating up your time and effort trying to see this information. Number 2, then you can quickly see the information to, most importantly, take action on the information. And so if I look at this report, it says tickets generated by companies over a current month. Right. And so when I look through this, the distribution seems to be pretty even till I get to this company, AAA, and I see 25% of my tickets are coming from one company in my company, and I know that's not sustainable moving forward. If I'm generating this big a percentage from one customer, that means they're eating up all my profitability. These models are proven in MSPs, right? You have to quiet the noise, and so. Having a BI and analytics platform does 2 things. It automates the report, saving you time, number 1. And then number 2, it allows you to take critical action by seeing this information and knowing that you need to take action. Likewise, I'm a small business owner and I have, some employees are, running the company as I'm going through my day, right? I want to see all the tickets that are being worked, closed, responded to, and most importantly, those that are not being responded to, right? We can all see that that's going to be trouble down the road if I'm having tickets that fall through the cracks. So these are just examples of the value that BI on ticketing can provide. For example, I can provide average acknowledgement time in number of minutes per ticket, right? So maybe you have a KPI built in for your business where you need to respond in 10 minutes or under. For each ticket, and so day after day, week after week, you can see if you're meeting these, these business goals clearly by having the information, in front of you updated. And so that gives you the ability to do that by having this information right there in front of you. Sorry about that. I broke it on that BI widget. And then as we go ahead.
I'm sorry. Ollie, your audio is pretty bad. And then your your microphone gain or your volume are up so loud that when you're not muted, I am hearing myself or I'm hearing Mike as he's talking. I can't understand a thing he's saying. Is anyone else?
No,
Is everyone else having problems? Or
yeah, I cannot hear him. I can't understand it. It's choppy.
yeah,
So I'll continue to move on. So the BI for Autotask will be integrated in the coming months. It's already stood up for the ConnectWise platform, but as you can imagine, it's very complex, and there's a lot of integration detail points. And so, but if you do sign up on the platform, you will get it, and it will be stood up, in the next coming months. But it's already built into the platform for you to use as the integration goes forward. And then, for an SMB MSP, right? We have feedback built into the platform so that you can, score your customers based on your tickets that you close. And so there's an automated surveying feature built in. It will attach an email snippet to a closed feedback loop, and it can score the customer and be something just as simple as, hey, we completed a ticket. How did we do? Click on, a smiley face. Or if you want, you can show these detailed scoring categories, and you can customize questions so that when you guys get a completely filled out dashboard, it looks something like this. You can see what your CSAT scores are, who your happiest customers are, customers that are not so happy, and then as you guys scale out, you'll be able to see who, have competitions on who the most appreciated techs are, from top to bottom. And so this gives you that live detail coming in. And again, very importantly, those feedback ratings, right? So that you can see when things are going off the road a little bit before they get too far out of alignment, right? You can make those small course corrections to keep getting better in the business. This allows for that, those course corrections allow for that growth. This platform will show your net promoter score, how likely the customers are to promote you to the industry. And many MSPs use this right on the front page of their website to promote their scoring to the public. And there's been a number of studies done recently, and in the next couple of years, customers are going to choose MSPs based on their level of customer service, right? That's going to be the number one driver moving forward in the next couple of years, according to a Harvard business study. And so, as you guys are growing and scaling, right, you're going to want to give excellent service to beat out the competition. And this is a way to utilize this pillar in the platform for you guys to be able to see what those scores are and effectively move forward. This platform will also give you negative feedback alerting. So if you get a negative score, it will notify you immediately so you can try to turn that situation around. There's been studies done that will show you that happier customers are by far more profitable customers. And so again, as you guys are growing from small SMB MSPs to the larger states, right, you're going to want to, make sure that your customer service is aligned with that growth. So that's kind of the platform, from a high level. The platform does have a backup dashboard built into it. It is currently integrated into CrashPlan. And I know our Ali and team and our CTO have already begun the steps to do the Datto integration. Datto has sent us their boxes and their API sandbox to start that development, and that is ongoing. So we'll be looking to release Datto in the next couple of months. And then Beam and some other ones are coming behind that, in the future. And so with these backup dashboards, you'll be able to see what's going on in your backups, what's using the most space, the backup summary. And of course, you can chop this information up by sorting on these headers, scrolling down, searching for information if you want, just typing in information to search, and it'll pull up what you're looking for. Very robust search capabilities under, these functions. Or, if you want to do a global search on the platform, you can, type in anything, and it will not only search it, but it will also index it for you so that you can quickly surmise what you're looking at, right? And through the search and the indexing feature, you can quickly surmise what you're looking at and drill down on the information that you're intending to get to. So that's built into the platform. The platform also has passwording documentation built into it. And again, we discussed earlier how you can, link a password to a configuration that I showed you earlier on, where you opened up the right-hand side panel and you had the password linked to it so that I can quickly get to it. But you can also look at the password list to be able to determine, what's going on overall in the passwords. And when time and speed is of efficiency and of critical nature in MSP, just being able to hover over the password, look at it, and copy and paste it into a remote window, you can do that in our platform. If you need to drill down into the password, you can certainly do that. You can uncover it and copy it and use it right here. You can audit who's been in the passwords so that you'll be able to see what's been going on and who's been in doing what. And then you'll also have revision history on all your passwords back to the last 50 versions of a password. So you'll scroll this bar back to whatever version that you might be looking for. And if you need to restore it, you can hit this restore button to remake over the data to the level that you want based on prior history. So that's all built into the platform. I think some of that's new too, Steve, since the last time we talked. So that's the high level version. The platform has dashboarding built into it, so that for example, you have some ideas of generic dashboards that we're showing you from a high level view. You could create a ticket dashboard. So if you want to see your tickets, what's going on with all your ticket boards, you can do that. Again, you can click on any one of these ticket numbers and drill down into the actual ticket in Autotask or ConnectWise by clicking on this number. And again, it'll open it up either in the web app or in the actual application, depending on what you choose to do in that. And then when you're done and you update that information, it'll send those updates back over to us so that you have it back in the system. And likewise, you can create an assets dashboard and again, drill down into this information, based on, wanting to see what's going on with these devices. But these are dashboards that you create. These are just examples that we give you, but you can create these dashboards. And then we give you kind of what I would call a video license, that if you want to play these up on a knock screen display, you can do that. Certainly as you grow and you build out your infrastructure and your NOCs and your assets, you may want to take advantage of this as you move forward, but that's built into the platform. So Steve, that's kind of the high level, really, some of the things that you've seen, in the past, and then plenty of enhancements with what we've brought through, feature enhancements, to the platform. The platform now also has what we call tagging built into it, and where you can build out a template once and then tag as many assets to it as you want. So for example, if I build out a virtualization image template and I put the image in here, but I've got 30 servers the same image is on, right? I can just go in and quickly add these servers to this right here by just, continuing to add servers so that when I save it, I can just click on these links to all these devices that have that relationship to it without physically going in one at a time and creating those links.
And you call it tagging. I think a stickier documentation platform might call it linking. So
yeah,
I want to make a quick observation that not only is this, in my personal opinion, an absolutely gorgeous interface for, the whole platform is just really enjoyable to look at. I mean, there's no way around that, in my eyes. But it's also incredibly fast. So I've got to ask, is this in the cloud? Like, is this on AWS or Azure, or is this hosted in your office?
Great question. It is hosted on Amazon Web Services, and there are multiple instances around the globe.
I'm sorry, Ollie, your audio still isn't working right. So
Is that
I did
mine?
hear. No, he unmuted because I think he wanted to talk, and he unmuted again. So let me there. So so it is hosted in AWS, which I assume also means that you've got it in multiple locations, maybe not only around the United States but around the country and or I'm sorry, around the globe, based on where you've
Absolutely.
got customers. So you're also
Absolutely.
able to meet like GDPR and other stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely. It's, we've got an instance in Europe, Canada, the United States, and Australia. And, we're open to other instances where they make sense, but right now that's the mass of our business in those continents and in those countries, and we have data in country and in region for those groups. What
Got
else?
it. So I just want to comment to Ollie real quick. He said he brought in a blue mic, still having issues. So Ollie, it doesn't sound like a microphone issue. It sounds like a jitter or bandwidth, issue. Um, so I don't know if you're like on Wi-Fi and you can connect to Ethernet, or I don't know. So I just want to let you know what kind of issue it sounds like. But it also sounds like the computer audio driver is doing something jacked up too, because when I talk and you're unmuted, I'm like hearing myself. So you're creating an echo, but it's also still got that jitter. So I've got the as I'm talking. So okay, so I know we are going to have a ton of questions. I have I've actually got, so there's 11 questions here in the Q&A, guys. You can actually go into the Q&A section and you can vote on the questions, and you can make sure that the question that you're most excited about gets asked first by voting on it, okay? With that said, holy moly.
Still bad? Still bad?
Yeah, it's bad.
Yes. Yeah. So I wanna just kind of tackle that elephant in the room, because everyone's thinking it. So I'm sorry, I'm going to throw you under the bus here, but you guys were late. My emails even said EST. So yeah, I think a big question that people are going to have is, you were late. There have been rumors about ITBoost having downtime in the last week or so, and some other people talking about how they've tried to sign up in the past and it wouldn't take their credit card, so they just went to some other company instead. So I think there's a big question about your company's, I don't know, ability to be organized and things like that, because I mean, you've got a beautiful platform, but if we can't reach you, or if we can't log in because it's down or whatever else, what good does it do us?
Yeah. So since Ali's not available to speak, I've never heard of anybody not being able to sign up. That's the first time I've ever heard of anything like that. I wouldn't promise that that something like that had, but I've never heard any indication that somebody couldn't sign up and went somewhere else.
I don't think they bothered checking with tech support. I think they just, they tried, it failed. They're like, whatever, and went somewhere else.
I've never heard of that.
Okay.
Is it possible? I'll be the first to admit it's possible. And in terms of downtime, this past week we did have a session issue, the first time ever. It was some back end AWS stuff that had been moved around. It was quickly rectified within about an hour or so, and we were off and going. But in 18 months, that's the first event we've had, and we've all experienced those issues. And so The thing is, being on the AWS platform, it's very fault tolerant, and you want to minimize that.
Mhm.
So, lesson learned with what happened, and we've built in processes to make sure it doesn't happen again. And we move forward. And so I think our track record is pretty strong. Again, 18 months to date with no downtime until earlier this week, and it was just a very short period. We got it fixed and built in safeguards. And to be fair, Steve, you and I should definitely work together moving forward in the future, because I want to be on time to these kind of things. The invite I have says 1 p.m. Central on my platform, and so I'm glad I logged in early, which
Me
was
too.
late. But we'll look to avoid that moving forward.
Yeah, and it could have been something I did. I'll have to double check, because I want to give you guys the benefit of the doubt. Okay, I did just sign up for Infusionsoft less than a month ago. God only knows if I did something wrong on there, but I just it starts at 1, man. So I appreciate you answering that. I think it happens, guys, and I think that there's just a lot of things were all kind of coming up. Like, you guys weren't here, and then everyone's like goes on the let's crap all over ITBoost festival. So so the questions started rolling in. Okay, so one person said if you Google ITBoost, Google says their office is closed. So just thought I'd throw that one out there. I didn't Google it, so I don't actually know that to be true or not, but that's what somebody else said. All right, so let's get into some questions about the actual product. What I know a couple guys that have said, we used ITBoost and we don't have a problem with ITBoost, but we can do all of this in ConnectWise, so I'm just going to do that.
And that's if you know the systems, that's not entirely accurate. Just at the end of the day, automated screen pulls from your VoIP system, that's not possible with just in ConnectWise. And then relating information and linking and documentation build out to the degree that you're seeing it, that's just not possible. There is places for documentation and information, but the linking relationships as it relates to how documentation works, where you're either tagging or linking relationship together, and then your dashboarding views, your BI and analytics, plus your feedback, all converged into a single entity in a converged systems platform, right? Give you far and above what you're just getting in a ConnectWise platforms. And I've heard that too. I've heard that, and I've done 1,000 demos with 1,000 different companies. And, and I'm, pretty familiar, I'm not intimately familiar with, every single feature that ConnectWise offers, but I am familiar enough to know that they don't do some of these things. And that's the value of an ITBoost, right? Where you're getting these dashboards that you're not getting. You're getting this call integration. You're getting, the feedback. You're getting the BI, as well as connecting documentation. And when you look at the ROI of just documentation, BI and analytics on your tickets and feedback alone, those return on investments are astronomically high. And there's tons of studies, right? Speaking of going and searching for information, if you do those searches, right, the payback on these big pillars in our platform are very high. And so for a small MSP that is looking to grow, right, you're getting these tools where the much larger MSPs use. You're getting them included into this platform, all in for that, for that one price. And so, you can invest in much more expensive tools, but as a small MSP, sometimes that's financially taxing.
Awesome. I feel like that's an awesome answer. All right, let's see what's next on here. So since we're talking about people signing up or not signing up or whatever, you guys don't have a trial, right?
No, what we have is a 30-day money back guarantee. So you sign up, you pay your money for the number of users, and then you onboard, you train. There's a fee associated with that, and then we get you all stood up, right, and then allow you the runway to bake it off for up to 30 days. And if you decide it's not your platform, we refund your monthly fee that you paid us.
Perfect. So 30 days, refund within the first 30 days if it's not for you. Seems pretty reasonable. Now,
Yeah.
Crecor, I don't know if Crecor is still here. Let me look here. Yeah, he is still here. Hey, Crecor. All right, so Crecor is, he says he's new to Autotask, but I think he's, I met him at last Autotask's conference. So he says he's new, but he's just modest, guys, okay? So he hasn't gone in and added any KB documents or anything. So someone said that, ConnectWise can do all of this. Let me see. See below. Can this type of integration, for example, with VoIP system, the dashboard's panel style screen be configured in Autotask? Well, that's not a fair question to you because you don't know. I'm going to say there are some dashboards you can do in Autotask.
Yeah,
but
yes,
not to
there
this
are.
level.
Absolutely, there are dashboards, and everything comes with a price, right? Remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And
In
so,
fact, I hope to start building some Autotask dashboards, Crecor. But no, there are not any like integrations for VoIP stuff in Autotask. You would have to use ITBoost to get some of that VoIP integration information into your dashboard. And that would also mean not only are you using ITBoost to bring in that information, but you're using ITBoost to view the information because you're looking at the ITBoost dashboard. It's not going to pull that information from ITBoost into Autotask unless you are doing something, and this is just my assumption, unless you were doing something like updating a ticket. But I don't think you can do ticket updates from ITBoost, right?
you can pull the tickets like I'm showing you here. So
Right.
even though my laptop is only has one integration, it's ConnectWise, you can get to the ticket from right here by clicking that ticket number, and it will open up the actual ticket in Autotask. See, at the end of the day, our platform is your central business hub. Doesn't mean that you won't spoke off necessarily into another platform, such as the Autotask PSA, to update your time and update the ticket, right? But then when you save that, those updates are sent back over to us so that you can go right back into working into your, your daily business hub and have that information pulled over. Now, if you update contacts, locations, and configurations in our system, it will send those updates back over to ConnectWise. So it is a two-way sync going back and forth, for the contacts, locations, and configurations.
Perfect. All right. His next question was, how does this compare to Desk Director or other such tools? And I think the best answer is Desk Director is designed. Yes, Desk Director has a tech interface, but Desk Director is really designed to be like a client portal tool. So you install Desk Director as an agent onto every one of your client computers, and then it's got the ability for your clients to open up tickets and whatever else right there from their computer. So I don't think this compares to Desk Director simply because this isn't really for your clients to look at. This is for you.
Well, and let me make a clarification on that too, Steve. So as an ITBoost user, you can give your clients access to this portal. They will not be able to update information unless you pay a licensing charge, but they will have the viewing rights based on you setting them up as a user and then assigning them a role. And roles for external users are read access only, and then you determine exactly what information that you want them to see by you checking and unchecking these boxes to determine what they can see. And when the customer logs in, they're going to land on their specific company page. They will see their logo, your logo up here, and then they will see what's going on this page. They will not be able to drill down onto it, but they will be able to see if there's devices, and the asset counts, if you've got the warranties up to date, and if you're working any tickets, right? So that gives them a level of comfort if they see, network outage right here, a ticket being worked. They go, oh, our network's down. I see they've already opened up a ticket. I don't really need to call in or bother them. I see it was updated, 28 minutes ago instead of 28 days ago. But then they will be able to see whatever level of documentation that you have allowed them to see over here. So if they need to access information or passwords, they can do that and have that, certain measure of self-service on, I need to add, a phone to, the domain. How do I do that? Or how do I sign in to Office through my Apple? Oh, okay. I just follow these steps. I'm done. I didn't even need to call Steve and Company. Here's my information. So they can, have that level of self-service and move on without using up cycles within the business.
So Crecor thought Desk Director was more of an MSP single pane window. My experience with Desk Director, and we're talking 2 to 2.5 years ago now. Gosh, has it really been that long? Oh. For the MSP, for the tech, it was abysmal at best. And this could have just been with the Autotask integration or whatever, but it wasn't like a real-time update. And all it really gave me was the ability to look at and update tickets as the tech. I feel like ITBoost is a much more comprehensive tool. However, ITBoost, so the big difference between the two, in my opinion, is yes, you can give your customers access to ITBoost. However, it's not a portal for them to go in and create new tickets. That might come someday, but right now, that's not what ITBoost is all about. Just
Correct.
like it's not for
yeah, we're definitely not the ticketing agent. But once the ticket has been created by whatever means, and then it goes into the ConnectWise or the Autotask, then those ticket details will pull through and show underneath company summaries or on, global dashboard summaries. Global dashboard summaries for tickets. So that you can see those once they've been created. They pull into our system to allow you to use this as your primary tool in the MSP.
And I see an update from Ali, but as of today, I'll add one more thing. So for the customer, it's not for them to go in and add or create tickets. And also for you, the technician, it's not for you to go in and update time entries or notes on tickets. It's only for you to view the information, review metrics, and then the things that you can add to ITBoost are things more like passwords and documentation and that type of stuff. But really, it's more besides the stuff that it does natively, like the passwords and documentation. It's more just bringing on all that information in and giving you one single dashboard to look at to see all this cool information. Now, Ali did add, you will soon, and we'll have to twist his arm and get a date. You'll soon be able to create tickets for multiple screens in different sections of ITBoost. When's that coming?
Yeah. So we have, and we'll clarify this later on. We're going to be adding what's called a quick ticket functionality, where you can start the ticket and it will send it back over into Autotask or ConnectWise to then build it out and complete it. But that gives you the efficiency of just continuing to work within this platform as things become hectic and you need to quickly enter a ticket, at least get it started while you're then drilling down into assets and trying to remediate the issue.
Okay. So just a real quick recap. We got about 40 minutes left, and we have Mike and Ali here from ITBoost. We're taking a look at what's new. They're doing some Q&A for us. And the next question that I have is, what are some key things on your roadmap? Is this thing, can I go to itboost.com/roadmap and see what's going on?
No, we don't publish a public roadmap, but we are building out some really interesting stuff on the platform. Besides what you're seeing here, there are other major platform integrations coming, such as SolarWinds. That should be completed sometime around end of August into September. That will be another big platform release. And then there's some other, again, like I mentioned, the Datto integration has begun. With those relationships and the API and the boxes and the build out. So you'll be able to see more backup platforms in our converged services view. And then we are looking to build out a passwording pillar. That's still kind of going through committee. But the way we envision it is, a very robust passwording portal feature where customers can come in and do some type of measure of self-service, and where your techs can export passwords and, password resets and things like that, or mass password resets in case there's an emergency. And AD integration, those things are, on the roadmap for passwording stuff. So, that's all, coming in terms of, some of the things that I can talk about. There's a very robust web application being built that will go on mobile phones. Currently, this application is completely mobile web browser friendly. So, Steve, your group can use this right out on the data center floor and access every single feature that I just showed you. There's nothing they won't be able to do in a mobile web browser that I showed them. But we are building out the applications, and obviously they're very complex and nuanced. And so, the level of effort and the time is extensive. And so we want to get it right, and versus some of the other platforms that are out there with mobile applications, if you've ever seen them, you see they're just basically a shell of what they do. They do not actually do very much at all. And so, our platform will be very exhaustive in its mobile app.
Very cool, man. All right, and I see Ali added to the chat here. A lot of the roadmaps driven by requests by customers. So SolarWinds, Kaseya, the ability to send passwords to Screen Connect from within ITBoost is another major part of the roadmap as well. So that sounds really cool. And coming this year, you said SolarWinds and Kaseya. So that means sometime this year we can see Kaseya VSA and BMS, or are we just focusing on one piece of it?
On the RMM portion of that, okay. That will be the first rollout for Kaseya.
So Kaseya VSA, guys. Cool. Automated. So this guy had a few questions. So automated discovery functionality. Right now, he has to copy paste switch config into a notes field in his device.
So right now we don't do what like an Auvik does or some of these other discovery tools. We are not that platform. We do document that information, right? You can, obviously, like you said, save it in our platform, but we are not an automated discovery platform. That's not what we do.
And I wouldn't expect you to do any type of discovery stuff.
Yeah, that's very complex. And there's a lot of good companies that do it, and we, speaking of Auvik, we've already opened up discussions with those guys to integrate, some of the really neat things that they do onto our platform also. So you can probably look for that late this year, early next year.
And I see Quentin asked about Veeam. Is Veeam coming?
Veeam is definitely on the roadmap. We've been working with those guys for some time to build out their backup integration. Again, Datto is next on the list, but Veeam is right behind that.
Okay, so I also see Acronis Cloud. Is that one on the list? Because I know Acronis Cloud is integrated with VSA.
I
Kaseya.
don't have Acronis Cloud currently on the roadmap, but one of the things that we're going to want you guys to do is to be considered, as part of the community, right? We're going to give you access to our ideas portal, and I'm showing you a screenshot of that now, where you're going to have your voice heard, right? And so we're taking, obviously the ideas that have, the bigger centers of mass in terms of taking them from an idea to planning them on the roadmap when they reach critical mass, a critical number of votes. But it's not necessarily always the idea with the largest number of votes. So, for example, you can see we are building out granular level permissions, and this is already in progress and expected to be released with our next big release, where you can give somebody access to, for example, passwords, but then you can go through every single password underneath the company and determine which passwords they can see and which ones they can't. So you can get really granular, right? And so this didn't get the largest amount of votes, but our technology council determined that this was a critical feature for us to build into the platform, and it's really highly sought after. And so just after a very short period of time and just a few votes, we started building it out. So you guys will be to have your voice heard, basically, is the surmising this conversation.
And I put them in the chat, but some people asked about other things that could be on the roadmap, like Ninja RMM, Excello, WHMCS.
Ninja, there's a number of things on the roadmap that I have available. I can't share them, but we're working with Ninja. Again, Kaseya, Continuum. We're talking, in various degrees of progress with all of these guys. We opened up the Kaseya conversation 3 months ago and got all of their stuff, and have already begun the process. And so it's all phased rollouts, right? So the Autotask came recently. SolarWinds is coming right behind that. Kaseya, Ninja, and some of these things that definitely makes sense from a usability standpoint.
Awesome. Just got the 30-minute warning on my end. I don't know if you guys see that or not. All right. So what would you say your differentiating factor is with other documentation systems out there? You don't have to name names. Can I take a stab at this first?
Absolutely.
So I would say that the big things that ITBoost does that I don't think any other documentation platform does is those are just documentation platforms, where this is also able to do business intelligence and customer satisfaction, all built in. And I'm not saying it just shows you the stuff. I'm saying you can actually get rid of whatever CSAT tool you're using right now to ask for the thumbs up, thumbs down, or happy face, frowny face, whatever you're using, and you can use ITBoost to manage that. And you could get rid of your dashboarding tool in theory, I'll name BrightGauge because I think that's pretty much the only one out there. In theory, this is in competition with BrightGauge. This is in competition with the documentation platforms. This is in competition with the CSAT, all at once. And you're charging $50 a user, whereas all of those tools you'd be paying, $500 to start for just the business intelligence and the customer satisfaction.
Yeah, very, very fair assessment. Plus, you're getting the automated screen pulls if your VoIP system will export the caller ID, like I mentioned, right? So, the whole platform, and Ollie's vision, right, was that, he had his own MSP, started off small and grew it, and realized, when he looked up that his techs had, 7 or 8 boards open at the top of the screen. And those platforms are designed to create efficiencies in the model. And when you really thought about it, it wasn't creating efficiencies, it was creating complexities. And so how can I converge this into a single pane of glass, at a financial model that makes sense? And so, as a small MSP analyzes a business, right? When you go to these big seminars and these big workshops, they're going to tell you there's about 5 key components that the best MSPs all have, right? They have, the RMM, the PSA, they have documentation, they have business intelligence, and they have feedback. Those are the 5 pillars, right? And so as a small MSP, being able to afford those 5 pillars is generally not reasonable. And so I'm giving you a converged services platform, right, where all of these services are converged together, for a financial model that really makes sense, where you can execute on a scale, far bigger than what you are, by being able to operate the business on a day-to-day perspective, such as, seeing the company, seeing the live analytics, seeing the live statistics, seeing the tickets, accessing all of this stuff without having, 7 or 8 windows up here, and then being able to measure the business on how you're doing through analytics and feedback, right? Those are the key components, at a cost far less than what you'd be doing if you built it yourself. Yeah, well said, Steve.
Awesome. I like the idea of having I like the idea of having screen pops when a client calls, but it appears to only work with Jive and Ring Central soft phones.
No, it'll work with any phone system that will export the caller ID in a web URL link, and there's a lot of them. I can just tell you, I work with a bunch of them. So what you'll need to do is find out if your system will export the caller ID. If it will push it out is a better term. If it'll push it out in a web URL link, right? And so phone systems generally export in 2 forms. If you go and look, either in an API or a web URL link. And so they just need to understand if their phone will push out the caller ID in a web URL link. If it does, we will give them a place to send it, and we will pull it.
So I would love to get some more clarification on this. So I want to figure out how to ask it, because I'm not as knowledgeable about VoIP as I'd like to be. And holy cow, I really need a haircut. That's what I worry about on a daily basis, guys, how I look. All right, so what device is pushing out the URL? Is it the phone? Is it
the call control?
So is that the phone system?
Yes.
Then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So on the it's going to be on either in the cloud or hosted on-prem, and it's going to have a panel interface that says you can do this and you can set this and you can do that. Well, one of those features is going to be, how you want to control the caller ID, and how you want to label it. If you want to push it out, you want to send it to a location, and how you want to do that. And so in the call control, they either Google it or call their vendor, or study the manual, or go to the interface and be able to look and see if their call controller will push out the caller ID.
Okay. So now I'm confused, because you said it's the phone system itself, so the cloud system, and Ali says it's the soft phone that's pushing out the web URL into a browser.
Yeah, the software, the soft phone, the software, the controller.
Well, and I only ask because, if they have a desk phone and they don't have a soft phone installed, so let's say they're using a desk phone, it's a VoIP phone, but is the phone able to, like a physical phone, able to push that information out?
I do not believe it is.
Okay. And then, okay, so I see Zach here. Usually it's a webhook, said Zach. So PBX pushes a UTL pop to the soft phone. It doesn't necessarily have to be a soft phone. My VoIP has a phone control app that pops up.
It does not have to be a soft phone, but you can use soft phone application to do it.
Okay.
PBX
Cool.
Has a software interface, and it can push it out. That's how contact centers are built, through call pushes and exporting either through APIs or web URL hooks.
I am very curious to see if the phone provider that I work with, some of you guys may have heard of them, Connects VoIP, and they have a deal in the MSP webinars deal thing. So I'll check with them and see if they have any type of integration. If they have integration, then those of you that might be using something like OIT VoIP or other, oh gosh, I can't think of the platform it's on. It's like
what are you using, Steve?
I work with Connects VoIP, and I can't think of the software that they run on. It's not like free PBX or one of those. It's one you pay for, but I know there's quite a few that'll run on. No, I feel like it starts with an A or an L.
Asterisk?
No, it's not Asterisk either.
Yeah,
Net Sapiens. That's what it is. So it's Net Sapiens. So if it'll run on Net Sapiens, then it'll run on quite a few systems that I'm familiar with. So cool. Now we have that out of the way. Nextiva, as far as an integration, if Nextiva supports this feature, then I mean the integration's already there. They just might not have a knowledge base article on having it work yet. Oh, I see Ollie says Nextiva already works, so great.
And Ollie has tremendous amount of experience with this. I have tons of VoIP experience and have sold in past live big VoIP systems, so familiar with the call controlling and those kind of things. But at the end of the day, our platform will accept the push, right? And so we just need to if somebody's considering us and want to know about that, they'll just obviously need to understand if their system will do that push.
Gotcha. Oh, great. Ollie said that they're going to add a list of all the VoIPs that do work to the website eventually. We did talk about all the PSAs that are integrated. Right now it's ConnectWise and Autotask, and there are plans moving forward. I'm going to assume for eventually with the SolarWinds MSP Manager and Kaseya BMS, but it sounds like you're focused on N-Central and Kaseya VSA, which is their RMM tool. It sounds like you're focused on those first and foremost before we get to their PSA tools, which I think is reasonable because I feel like the RMM is where a lot of the important stuff comes from for what you need to document against. We just answered that one. How does it compete with the 800-pound gorilla? We know that this very sticky competitor of yours has announced a very, very tight integration with Kaseya and Autotask. They announced checklists. They've got runbooks, which you can only get if you're on their most expensive plan. And I hear, I don't know if it's a rumor, if it's actually done. I don't know how it works. So I hear that they've also inked a deal with Kaseya, where Kaseya will be able to sell it directly to MSPs that are already working with Kaseya, so that way you've got one less bill coming in the mail. And I believe because of their purchasing power over Kaseya, that means they're, I think, looking to reduce that minimum from 5 users to a lower number. Now, before you answer all of that, I will throw out that I know that ITBoost has a deal with MSP webinars, and I believe that's going to stay intact for the foreseeable future. I hope so. Fingers crossed. Because what we have is it's still $50 a user, but instead of minimum 5 users, members of MSP webinars have a minimum of 1 user. And there's also a lower price on the onboarding and that type of stuff too, which you can work with Mike or Ollie or whoever your salesperson is and get out the skinny on that, or you can log into the MSP webinars portal and get the skinny on that, because all of the details are in there. There's a special link and a coupon code for you to get that. So with all that said, how do you feel like you guys compete with something so sticky?
Are you speaking in terms of business operation and partnerships, like or are you just talking, pound for pound, feature for feature?
I think there's it's almost like a two-part answer. I mean, it would be interesting to hear both sides of that.
So we reviewed kind of what you'll see on our platform that you won't see on, just a sticky platform, right? The automated screen pulls from the VoIP system, the extensive dashboarding, with the relationships, the business intelligence, and the feedback. Again, you can integrate all those on that sticky platform, but you have to go out and buy them first, right? So if you're a small MSP, do you want those, extended costs, right, in a small business? And sometimes that doesn't make sense, right? For my model, I'm converging all of those on my platform and giving you a model that is tailored towards the small groups, right? And as you scale over the months and years, we can certainly, talk about, the financial modeling and things like that. But, you're getting, automated screen pulls, right? Attention to detail, lowering TTRs, everything the industry says you have to be more competitive and more profitable. You've got to get to things quicker, right? So right out of the gate with screen pulls, I'm giving you that, right? The documentation pound for pound is going to be very similar. We do a lot of things, functionality that are going to cross over with these other platforms. We do some things they don't do. They do some things that we don't do, right? So really overall, when you examine it from a business perspective, you go, okay, do I need some little minutia of detail, like some small report or something like that I can't necessarily see in an ITBoost, or do I want larger platforms such as BI and analytics and feedback that can really affect my business in a far greater way than some smaller level of detail of reporting or something like that? So I would say if you examine the feature functionality aspect, we provide a lot more for a much better financial model, because in the real world, if you build it out yourself, you're going to have to go buy those platforms and incur the costing models that are associated with it. Now, I
think coming from an MSP, hands down, your platform offers more functionality than many, if not all, of the others. I like the interface. It's much more enjoyable to look at. I love all the intelligence, all the dashboards. And I think once you get all of those integrations built in, you'll be unstoppable. Obviously, development takes time. I mean, there's just no way to sugarcoat it. I mean, it takes a few months to build this stuff.
Absolutely. And so you've seen the development from when we spoke to your group, 3 or 4 months ago, right? We've stood up BI. We've brought in Autotask. We've augmented a lot of features on the platform, made them a lot crisper. The template build out now is far more complex and robust. So we continue to add to the platform, right? And you've seen the changes just in the past few months. So give us, another 3 months, 6 months, another year, and you'll see some really tremendous development in the platform. And to be honest, these things do take time, the level of effort associated with them, right? And we're doing this in a phased, controlled type release program, right? Because to release it all at once and, have things scattered about and not really a really solid control system is not the best way to release software, And so we want to do this thing in phases to make sure that it's stable and we're giving you the best experience possible.
And I think that's awesome, man. And I think obviously other companies have been around a little longer than you, so they're going to have more partnerships and things like that. But I mean, you guys are tackling this head on.
Well, and so we think the bar was set with documentation, 3 or 4 or
Mhm.
5 years ago when it came out, right? And all the shows we attend, the hundreds of conversations we have, weekly and, throughout the month, we believe that the bar now has been raised for converged services platforms. It's far more now than just documentation. And you see that throughout the industry and in other software platforms that are now all converged, such as Kaseya aggregating multiple platforms, Autotask having, and even ConnectWise having, very robust, diverse functionality. You see it in the infrastructure business now with Cisco, HP, EMC, Dell, where everything's converging into a converged services platform. And so we are, taking that model where you can converge multiple services to gain efficiencies and a much better value moving forward into the months and years ahead.
Very awesome. Somebody asked about the knowledge-based functionality, especially in TreeView. They said it's clunky. And I see Ollie already answered that here in the chat. He said, you guys get it. You're in the process of redesigning it. Stay tuned for version 3.0 coming soon. Now, I see on Facebook, somebody asked about brandability. They didn't realize that you guys are brandable.
Yeah, so we brand it, by allowing the customer to put their logos, input their logos. And so when, you open up the platform, their logos will be up in the upper right-hand corner, not ours. And when you export some of the documentation, it will be branded with the customer logos. There's no private URL branding. It is secure HTTPS branding. Rollout, but it's not private label branding on the URL.
Is that something you guys are looking to do?
It has been discussed, and Ollie can probably speak to that a little bit more. As you can imagine, it's super complex, and there's a number of certificates that have to be managed, and and a bunch of certs and things like that have to be managed. And so we don't want to get too far out of our lane right now for a feature, that we might not be considered, core to the efficiency of what we're doing. It's certainly something that, is like Ollie says, it's probably coming soon. But, first things first, let's take care of, priorities that make sense to the market.
Absolutely. So we've gone through a ton of questions. I feel like you've answered them all well. You took the tough ones really well. I'm sorry I had to beat you guys up a little at the beginning, but things happen.
That's all right. We still love you, Steve.
I appreciate it, man. I love this platform. It is such a cool looking platform. And I'm talking to a guy that said he did a demo. I'm going to say today. He said today. I mean, it was live, right? So he said he did a demo today. He loves it. He already loved it. And then he saw some more insights on this webinar. So I think he just easily closed another client. And then Ollie said selling to clients is one of the most requested features. So I bet that one's probably coming soon. And then Creekor, did you mean to put just a question mark?
Creekor put, what about a private labeling resell? And so Ollie's saying that's going to be something that's being developed.
Oh, that's weird. It sent just a question mark to the Q&A section. Neat that it tried. All right, so I just want to recap the deal. So we started this deal at the beginning of the year. ITBoost was actually the first big deal that MSP Webinars did, and you were able to help me kind of launch that MSP Webinars into a whole membership platform, and I really thank you guys for that. So you're always going to have a special place here at MSP Webinars. Anytime you want to come show off your product, I really appreciate you guys. So ITBoost has one of the strongest deals available with MSP Webinars, and I think we might have one of the best deals available for any documentation platform anywhere altogether, because I'm awesome. I'm humble because I'm awesome. If you guys saw the sales and marketing one, you'll remember that. So $50 a user, minimum one user, when using the special URL and coupon code that you get as a member. And I believe you get the minimum one user for life, as long as you're a customer to ITBoost. You get that, right?
I think we locked that price in for 3 years. Yeah, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was something like that.
And I'm sure that the pricing may, like the per user price may change, but if I recall correctly, are we doing the one user minimum was locked in for a while, or?
Yeah, the one user minimum was locked in for, you can if you stay at that, you're locked into that price for at least 3 years.
Okay.
Right. And 3 years from now, we'll evaluate. If it's less, we're in the business of staying in business, so we may have, and if likewise, if costs substantially change, that would be different. There's an onboarding fee of $100, but Ollie and his team will get you all trained up to make sure that you know how to correctly and very efficiently use the system. I mean, this whole thing only makes sense if you're getting the efficiency out of it, Steve, right? If you're getting quicker so that you can bring on more customers just with one user, right? So you can handle 10 companies or 20 companies till you finally have to do that old dreaded, I need to hire somebody routine, right? And, but it's built to scale. And, if you scale up to, 5, 10, 20 users, yeah, we can discuss, financial modeling at that point. But, we're using it so you guys can get, can use all the tools that all the bigger companies use without breaking the bank.
And something that I know I brought it up to you guys before because it was asked once, and I think I've just been telling people that you charge the correct amount, but it's listed wrong, and that's been what's happened historically. But on the URL that you have for us, it shows $450 onboarding instead of $100.
It's $100.
Okay.
Ollie and his team that corrected for you guys.
Yeah, and they only charge for the onboarding once the onboarding happens. So, if you start using it for a few days, then you they didn't forget to charge you onboarding. They only charge it. They will charge it once you do your onboarding, and that doesn't mean keep canceling onboarding, guys. And then if you are using a documentation portal that's maybe a little too sticky, they can import all of that data for you for an extra $100. So onboarding for $100, sticky data import $100, $50 a user, minimum one user. I don't see any reason not to use this. I mean, I want to use it. I should sign up. I'm going to sign up.
Awesome.
All right.
I would assume you have still have the URL and the coupon code, Steve.
Yep, I've got that all up. As long as that hasn't changed, then everything's good. Oh, one last question: are there APIs if we want to import data into our own internal reports?
Currently, there are not open APIs. We know other platforms have those. We're in a little bit controlled growth phase where we're trying to make sure that we don't get too many things, too many moving parts that may cause some leakage. So no open APIs to bring your stuff in. I know that's on Ollie's radar. We know other platforms have that, but right now we want to make sure we build out the best possible product that we can through controlled and measured builds and releases.
Well, hey, thanks so much, guys. This was absolutely incredible. I love all the new stuff you've done. If you are not yet an ITBoost customer, you should really check them out. If you're not an MSP Webinars member yet, this is a great time to become one, because I'm going to help you save, if it's just you and your company, I'm going to help you save $200 a month plus a few $100s on onboarding. So, get signed up. And Ollie, hey, things happen with the microphone. We're bummed that you weren't able to talk, but at least you were able to type. We had Mike here. He was able to keep things moving. Next time, we will get things working.
Just tell Ollie dinner's on him next time you guys see each other.
There you go. And then for those of you curious, I did put it's a green little button down in the bottom center of the screen. There is the link to the first ITBoost webinar we did. So if you guys want to see the first one and then watch this one, you'll probably learn something additional from that one, because I know we weren't able to cover everything today. But it'll also be really interesting for you to see how much has changed in the, let's see here. This first one was in January 31st. So how much has truly changed in 6 months, 5-6 months? So
quite a bit.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, guys. I am going to end the broadcast here. I hope you all have an awesome Thursday, an awesome weekend. Go enjoy this beautiful weather. I know even here in Ohio, it is amazing outside. And,
thanks for the time, everybody.
We'll catch you next week for more webinars. Take care.